DreamWorks is going downhill fast after such an amazing film and is showing no signs of stopping. I thought before about how I was worried about Kung Fu Panda 4 even before it came out, and just as I feared, everyone either hates it or thinks it's mid as heck. That's a sentiment that every film after the winter of 2022, when the best film they ever made was released. We can debate which movie is the best in personal terms, but there's no doubt that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the best put together movie they ever released in the history of their films. Which is quite ironic that the franchise that started their company is the one that will be treated with the respect they given to such an amazing film. Since Shrek in 2001, DreamWorks has obviously had some misses here and there. They've always had a Shark Tale or a B-movie, even within their own franchises like the infamous stinker Shrek the Third. But even when they release stinkers within their own franchises, they used to end it with a great finale, just like they did with Shrek Forever After, ending their franchise with the respect they deserve. But the same respect doesn't seem to be the case anymore for any new films or even newer franchises. This beginning of the end can all be tracked down to one single movie, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Just before this film, they released The Bad Guys, which got everyone interested in the films again. Then they released this absolute banker of a film.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the best thing to come out of the Shrek cinematic universe since Shrek 2.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish comes out of nowhere to contend for the title of the best movie of the year.
Death is one of DreamWorks' strongest antagonists in quite some time.
So imagine my surprise when the decade-late sequel to the spin-off to the sequel to Shrek ends up being exactly the kind of movie that I've been so desperately hoping for a major studio to make.
It is rare for me to cry while watching a film, but my God almighty, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it got me.
I entered this movie as a different man than I am now. I have seen the magnificence it has to offer. For once, the critics were actually right. This is honestly one of the best animated movies I have ever seen, period.
This might honestly be my personal favorite animated film to come out this year.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is amazing. No joke, this is easily the best animated movie of 2022 and one of the best DreamWorks movies of all time. I can't believe how good it is.
There's no denying that this film was huge. It took over the world and got everyone to really pay attention to DreamWorks. Then started talking about all these new interesting characters and moments, even talking about the older films with new respect. Puss in Boots gave everyone what they've been missing from other animated features for now forsaken companies like Disney and Pixar. They gave us several interesting villains, well-crafted characters. This film was good. Then they released Ruby Gillman, new Trolls. They kind of wandered for 2 years that were just okay, which is fine. We could wait for another masterpiece. They're saving the big guns for something that matters, right? Like one of their incredible franchises that is respected so much by fans, by critics, by their creators, right?
Megamind is back.
I'm kind of a big deal.
And you're welcome.
I'm to kick some Doom Syndicate booty.
Megamind 2. Megamind 2. Megamind 2. Megamind was an incredible film released in the winter of 2010 that got not much love to begin with, but over time grew into a cult classic loved by tens of millions of people across the web. And now they release Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate.
Megamind 2 was a mega failure, and it might have just destroyed this franchise.
It's a sequel that everyone's been waiting for. Give it up for Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate.
Oh, right, I'm a hero now.
Oh, right, I forgot, I'm not evil.
Now he looks. The animation of him was so weird. It was so awkward the way the animation was.
He shoots the kid, the shit explodes, the kid explodes.
Calling this an actual movie, like an honest-to-God sequel to Megamind, doesn't feel very appropriate.
Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate, a direct-to-streaming original that had everything bad going for it you could possibly think of.
My viewing had just constant, bitrate issues, there was so much buffering, and that's just additional graphical errors that doesn't help considering how the rest of this damn movie looks.
Until we get whatever this was. What do I call it? A piece of shit.
The fuck? What did he do to them?
Since when did he have a Rick and Morty portal gun?
It literally is.
Dude,
look, it's green.
Wubba lubba dub
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, they could have at least made it, not green. It could have been, a color that makes sense to him, like blue, maybe? Did you ever think of that, you stupid peacock?
Peacock.
Peacock Kids, Tim. Get it right.
Yeah.
It's a Peacock original.
If you were to imagine the generic story of what is essentially a TV episode with a TV budget expanded to 90 minutes for some reason, yeah, the story's exactly how you'd expect.
This movie is... I don't even know how to begin. Just look at it. The original was amazing, incredible. It deconstructed the superhero formula. They talked about Nice Guy Syndrome, had an incredible story and themes, and Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is about nothing. There's nothing to attain from this movie, thematically, artistically, and worst of all, it's not even funny. Even if the show was a harmless cash grab to entertain kids, it doesn't even have anything comedic about it, besides how terrible it is, and even then, it's such a bad movie that I can't even laugh at it. It's like comparing Frozen to baby sensory videos. It's just actually nothing, literally nothingness compared to an incredibly well-constructed film. But fans held hope. Kung Fu Panda 4 is coming out the same year. Maybe this one will be good. They gave Megamind to another company. It's just to have a Peacock streaming show. They wouldn't take a beloved franchise from their grave where their films ended in pretty good finale just to make another mess, right? Right? Kung Fu Panda 4 was disappointing. Kung Fu Panda 4 was painfully mid. How to ruin a legacy. Kung Fu Panda 4. Kung Fu Panda 4 is absolutely awful. Stop calling it mid. Kung Fu Panda 4 is a movie that exists.
And then we arrive to the fourth film. And yeah, the diminishing returns are hard to ignore.
I would just like to say, I really despise being right.
Feels like nothing more than a quick cash grab of the studio. Really sucks to say, seeing how everybody collectively got together to celebrate the absolute masterpiece of Puss In Boots and The Last Wish. Heck, it even got me out of my retirement. Just for this two-piece bogus combo to come out the next year. Like, bro, come on.
Fourth movie, it's predictable and unrewarding. Why? Because the characterization feels pretty flat.
But how is the chameleon introduced? Well, she gets mad because she's called short and then pushes a guy down the stairs using her elephant power. And this is the most evil thing she does in the entire movie. This has gotta be the most dry, stale plank of wood villain I have ever seen from any DreamWorks movie.
I wasn't particularly excited, but I figured I'd go in with an open mind and maybe it would surprise me like the original trilogy. And you know what? It did surprise me. It's even worse than I thought.
Kung Fu Panda 4 is a film that DreamWorks forgot existed until like 2 weeks ago when they realized they should probably market their movies so they don't end up with a Ruby Gilman situation again.
I expected something decent, but instead I got something that actually kind of pissed me off with its mediocrity.
I personally think that there was no need for Kung Fu Panda 4, especially with the way that the trilogy was intricately crafted and put together.
Most people accept it as a satisfying conclusion, and the film overall felt pretty darn conclusive. So the announcement of a fourth Kung Fu Panda movie, while not exactly unwelcome given it's one of DreamWorks' most iconic and beloved franchises, definitely left a lot of people rightfully skeptical.
I just don't think this was a film that needed to be made. It's not a complete betrayal of Kung Fu Panda as a franchise. It doesn't ruin it or anything.
But to see creative diminishing returns is a bummer. And I fear this might only get worse for DreamWorks as time goes on.
And I don't understand why this movie had to be like this, because I think we all kind of looked at Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and subconsciously hoped that this would be the style of the next Kung Fu Panda, both in terms of the animation and the storytelling. It just made perfect sense, right?
They did it. They did it. Just like that, DreamWorks has lost all trust of the fans. Now they're just like everyone else. Just like every other company, they're just making sequels and sequels with no intent other than to make more and more and more. They started to make us believe that they would be the best. That if they made Shrek 5, it could actually be good. Now I can't wait for them to release Shrek 6 and 7, Kung Fu Panda 5, Madagascar 8, and a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie. It's clear to us now that Puss in Boots was accidentally amazing. And this DreamWorks problem that has always existed isn't going away anytime soon.